why there's an ethnic medicine, ethnic healing, and all that. He understands that. So stand up for our brother. They call him Imhotep. Llaila. Oh, yeah. One, two.
You already introduced me?
Yes, sir.
I kind of know who I am too. Good evening. Nice for you to come out today and spend some time with me. I guess I'll talk about health. There seems to be a lot of problems with health, and they're not going to go away until we free the people, to tell you the truth. It's not going to help. You can't be healthy and cultureless. It's impossible. But nonetheless, to help you put new curtains on your jail cell, I'll talk. It seems to be, we tend to think that scientists are always talking about facts, but we in science don't always talk about facts. We mostly talk about our beliefs, and beliefs are not facts. And the biggest problem I have with talking to people about science is they take science's belief as facts. They are not facts. We have the belief, and we call our beliefs theories. There's a theory of evolution. It has never been written as a fact. A black woman didn't produce white people. That is not a fact. That is a belief of scientists. Evolution is a belief. We call it a theory. We call it the free radical theory. We call it the antioxidant theory. We call it electron orbital theory. We call it the theory of gravity. We have all of these theories, but you take them as facts. And that's the major problem I have. Didn't no black woman in Africa produce white people? Get over it. It's a belief. The problem with beliefs are they're more powerful than facts. Wars are fought over beliefs, not facts. A belief is more powerful than any fact. We have to be able to accept a belief and accept a fact. It is a belief that I'm having a problem with. It's all right for you to believe in Santa Claus. I'm not trying to change your belief, but you know Santa Claus is not a fact. You have no problem with those things like that. But when it gets to food, nutrition, your health, homosexuality, you take all these theories as facts. Let us start off with how you are miseducated along with myself, because I'm trying to save myself as well as you. You were born, and the largest part of you that grew was your heart. Your heart grew first, and then your brain. And then your liver grounds your brain electrically. Everything starts from the root. The tree grows from the root, and then the trunk grows, and the branches, and the leaves, and the flowers, and all that sort of thing. And your thoughts grow from the root of your brain, called the brain stem. The thoughts grow there. Your emotions grow from there. Nothing happens singularly in the body. When the emotions grow, they grow like a bunch of grapes. We call it a neural net. You cannot have a single emotion by itself. If you have love, love is attached to anger, frustration, rage, hatred. It's attached to all the emotions. That is a fact. When you love someone, you also love their ignorance, their stupidity, their bad habits. You love the whole bunch of grapes, called a crazy person. I mean, you're a lover or whatever. All of that comes in a package. We call it a neural net. So your emotions grow from your brain stem, your thoughts grow from your brain stem, and then they branch out to what we call the cerebrum and the emotional center of your brain. So you go from the brain stem, which we could say is where you get letters from, and the middle part of your brain, which we call the parietal lobe, that's where you make the letters into a word. And up here, we call it the frontal lobe. That's where you make the words into a sentence. So you have letters back here, words here, and a sentence here. That's how these thoughts and emotions grow. They grow from a root. So the objective is, if you put a tree in the bad soil, or any plant in bad soil, it won't grow too well. And you know that. So we have to get to the brain stem to make you crazy as possible, dysfunctionalize you. Some of you like to call it DNA, and we don't know what that means. Dioroxynuclear, whatever the white people like to tell you it means. It's just two strings of sugar, and in between of it is like a ladder. That's the amino acids, what you call protein, and that's how it grows. That's attached to two sugars. And then there's the rugs on the ladder, which you call the DNA. That's where the code is, on these rugs of the ladder. So it's growing up from the base. The ladder doesn't start from the top, it starts from the bottom, it starts from its root. So it's important to understand the root of your emotions, the root of your thoughts, because you are manipulated more by your emotions than how you think. Some of you think quite well about junk food and McDonald's and Obama. You have these nice thoughts about him. That's good, but your emotions are another way. Your emotions are attached to another part of this whole thing that goes on. You know intellectually that he's the president of a white company, and the president of any company, be it a baseball team, a football team, their job is to raise money. A president of a football team has to raise some money or else he's going to lose his job. Presidents are fundraisers. That's not the person you want to talk to. They just about raising some funds. And that's what Obama does, raises some funds for Wall Street, what you call it, bailouts or whatever the hell you'll call it. He's doing his job for that white corporation he works for. He doesn't work for you, Negroes. Those are the facts. I mean, I'm not having nothing against the boy. He probably knows how to pick cotton quite well. But those are the facts. And you can cerebrally, intellectually digest all social stuff, but I want you to have an understanding of something you call your body. So I have to give you some scientific understanding. Social stuff you understand. Columbus discovered America. He discovered Africa. He discovered Negroes and watermelon. Okay, we got that out of the way now. But we have to understand some science, because African people are scientific people. It takes a science to build some pyramids, my dear brothers and sisters. We are scientific people. And we have to go back and capture that science. So all of these thoughts start from the brain stem, and then they have the emotion attached to them so they can give them a value. And then the front part of your brain makes the sentence, gives the orders, as it were. Now, in the birthing process, what we try to do is give a range of how far to go with your anger and your frustration. We want you to know how far to go, the limits. And we call those limits bipolar, binary, the male and female. Every emotion is bipolar. Every disease is bipolar. High blood pressure, low blood pressure. That makes it bipolar. Hyperactivity, hypoactivity, that's bipolar. Every thought and emotion has a range of acceptance. And outside of that range, happiness can hurt you. Some people are happy gambling and shooting crack. Happiness can hurt you, and happiness can help you. Anger can help you, and anger can hurt you. When you put it in a place where it does not belong, then it hurts you. So we have to know the range of our emotions, when to use your anger for your benefit, when to use your hatred for your benefit. That's giving you the range. And you can only get that range from your mother and father if they are bonded in a relationship holistically. That's giving you the range. Now, if daddy ain't there, or mama ain't there, you don't have that range. Not for that moment of childhood, but for the rest of your life. So the objective is to know when to stress the sperm and know when to stress the egg. If you can stress those two, you can dysfunctionalize a Negro forever. We have to know about these things. So the birthing process in itself is a ritual. A ritual is a behavior that you repeat. If you repeat it over and over again and it hurts you, we call it addiction. To understand addiction, all you have to do is understand McDonald's or J.C. Penney or any factory that makes something. They want you addicted to that product. Ford, Mercedes. You say, I like Ford, you keep buying Fords, you keep buying Fords, because they have addicted you to the product. Advertisers are masters of addiction. You want to understand addiction, study Coca-Cola. They know how to addict people. That's what they do. So to have addiction is not a bad thing, it's just to have the addiction in the wrong place. But you're already addicted to something, Oprah or something. It's just you put the addiction in a place where it does not belong. And to move things, you have to have emotional muscle. You can't ask someone to love you and they don't have the emotional muscle to pick up your love. So you have to develop the emotional muscle to do things. And to develop the emotional muscle, you have to have the emotional vocabulary. To have the emotional vocabulary, you must have the emotional budget. To have the emotional budget, you must have the emotional expense account. Because we are ruled by our emotions. That's how they sell cars, brassieres, panty drawers or pantyhose or whatever. That's how the Koreans sell their nails. That's how they sell wigs and weaves. They're manipulating your emotions. That's why you go to the movies. That's why you listen to songs, because you want to be emotionally manipulated by someone else. We have to understand these things so we can get out of this rut, because we've been emotionally had. Some of us are addicted to white people. We want their Grammys, we want their Oscars, we want their diplomas, we want their degrees. We're addicted to them. That is our problem. We don't see it's addiction, but that's what it is. Our happiness is defined by someone else. We are addicted to white people, and that is too bad. But nonetheless, understanding addiction is understanding emotions. To understand emotions, you have to understand the physical body that produces them. And the physical body that produces them is what I'm talking about. We're talking about the bipolar range for everything. Everything is bipolar. Someone says they have a bipolar disease. I'm saying, okay, we got that part straight. What's the disease? We have all of these buzzwords that means absolutely nothing. In science, we just have a lot of words we throw around that mean absolutely nothing. And you say them like you're saying something. Now, we start off in the womb, as the Greeks call it, because they thought the woman's penis was cut off and she was wounded. So they call it a wound. That in itself is stupid. But you think it's a wound, so I just say a wound. Okay, she's wounded. I mean, we say things. I'm going to get some coffee. Yeah, I know coffee is a bean, but what do you get in coffee soup? You're not drinking coffee, you're drinking coffee soup. The Negro call it what it is. And if it's a bean, it's a carbohydrate, so you're drinking a carbohydrate soup. Coffee, hell, why don't you call it Pinto? Navy. Black eyed peas. I mean, that doesn't say nothing. You go into, what's that, Starbucks, whatever that name is, you go in there to get some soup. Negro. A carbohydrate soup. Just call it what it is, and then you have a better understanding of what's going on. Now then, people have these emotions, and you don't know how to use them to your advantage. So if you don't know how to use them to this advantage, then someone else is using them for you, to their advantage. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you don't know how to use it, someone else is going to use it for their advantage. And that's what the addicting arm of General Motors does, Mercedes does, what you call commercials, which are addicting things. Now, you have this baby that's being formed in the mother's womb, as you call it. And the heart sends out this electrical charge about 15 feet. So it's a heart-to-heart communication that the baby has with its mother. Aside from the other bonding things that were required to bond you to anything, to bond you to America, to bond you to Trinidad, to bond you to anything, I have to go through this original way in which you were born. You're in your mother's womb and you're drinking amniotic fluid. That's the fluid the baby's floating in. And in that fluid is vitamins and minerals carry electrical charge, and you call it electrolytes. So the baby can hear this electricity buzzing like you can hear it in cables. And it buzzes real high when the lady's angry. So the baby can hear anger. These electrical charges are in the amniotic fluid, and the flashes are real bright and yellow, orange, red, real bright when the lady's angry. So the baby can see anger, hear anger, and drinks the amniotic fluid and can taste anger. And the baby touches the amniotic fluid so the baby can feel anger. To the baby, anger is holistic. It involves every sensor that the baby has. The ears are a sensor for sound. The ears do not know what they are hearing. The eyes are sensors of light. The eyes do not know what they are seeing. The taste buds are sensors of food. The tongue does not know what it's tasting. You taste with your brain, you see with your brain, you hear with your brain. You have one sense that's common to all the other ones. It is your common sense. So I'm just trying to get to this science part of it all. So the baby is bonding to the mother with its one sense, its brain. Because it tastes with its brain, it sees with the brain, it touches with the brain, it smells with its brain. So if I want to bond you to New York City or the United States of America, I better have a flower that you can smell or a fruit that you can taste. New York has a fruit, New York has a flower, New York has a color, New York has an anthem. And that's what bonds you to New York. Because they're going through the same process that your mother took you through. You have to use all your senses to bond to someone. Do you see where I'm coming from? Am I getting a little too technical? Because I don't want to get too technical, because I know how it feels to be insulted by people who think they're intelligent, you know? I'm not all that intelligent, you know? You're not all that intelligent. A book cannot make you intelligent. I write books. A book helps you to exercise your intelligence, but God gave you intelligence. You're just exercising it through a book. A book cannot A book helps you to exercise with something already there that God gave you. God gave you intelligence, God gave you life, do you understand what I'm talking about here? I'm trying to correct some of our miseducation as I go forward with what I'm talking about. But sometimes it becomes very difficult, you see. So, the baby is bonded that way to the mother and father because the baby can send out a signal to the mother when it needs some more vitamin A or vitamin C or vitamin D. It sends it out through hormones because the baby cannot speak Swahili or English or Chinese or Japanese. The baby speaks emotions. So they emotionally sends a signal to the mother, eat something with a vitamin A. And the mother eats something with a vitamin A. So she acts differently when she wants vitamin A as opposed to when she wants vitamin D. She changes her behavior. The father observes the behavior and learns the baby. Because the baby is not being born. The baby is giving birth to two adults as a parent. The baby is pregnant with the mother and father. The mother is pregnant with the baby, and the father is pregnant with the mother and the child. Everybody's pregnant in an African relationship here. Did I go too fast? The baby is taking the mother and father through emotional rites of passage. That's why her behavior changes. So that helps the father understand the baby before it's born, emotionally. The father is pregnant with the mother and the baby. The mother is pregnant with the child, and the child is pregnant with the two adults birthing them as parents. Am I going a little too fast? Yeah. I'm just trying to correct some things before I go forward too much. Because sometimes I forget and I say stuff. Because I went to white school, you know, and it kind of messed me up, you know. I'm really, you know, I've been dysfunctionalized by my education, and that's true. That's why I buy white toilet paper, because I want white people to take some shit. But nonetheless, that's my dysfunctionality. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go there. I